I'll be speaking at an upcoming webinar with AMZ Scout, and so in preparation for that, I think it's going to happen in March. I've been given access to their tool. This is the first time I've actually used it, and I'm going to give you my take on some of the tools that they have inside of their platform. Selling on Amazon is difficult. It's everything but passive income. I share videos like this one to help Amazon sellers on their journey. My name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. When Amazon turns your world upside down, tune into My Amazon Guy to land safely and grow your Amazon business. So it's always good to check out new tools to see what's going on because there's so many Amazon tools out there now, and the landscape is ever changing. So this is AMZ Scout, and so what's really interesting about this particular tool is it's not just like your standard like click a button get data tool. It comes with quite a bit more than that. And so inside of AMZ Scout, when I first logged in, I was hit with all of this coursework or introductory video content. So they're giving step-by-step Amazon seller courses as part of their service. They also produce master classes and have an Amazon University. So as you scroll down here, you can see like, hey, here's the intro to getting started, types of products to avoid as a beginner. Spoiler alert, don't do big things or breakable items on your first item. Also avoid supplements. So they go through like all the qualities of a good product, and the tool is really built to help empower the user to do product research, but also know what to do with that product research once that's completed. And so it's a good marriage in my opinion. So they've got a lot of different content created in here, video tutorials. I mean, that was just, what is that, 2019 lessons just on page 1 for beginners dedicated. So you get access to that. They have some master classes, also some premium content built into the tool. All right, so let's get into the tool itself. So I went over into Amazon. I installed their Amazon Scout, AMZ Scout web app, and immediately started playing with this. So in here, if you were just to go land on any page, so I typed in stemless wine glass, and I'm going to click on the AMZ Scout Pro tool here. So it immediately pulls up data. Now, a lot of tools do have the ability to tell you like estimated sales, but what's really kind of interesting here is the personalized view component. So I'm not aware of another tool that personalizes it as much as they do. So if you're looking for something to customize, this is a good tool for that. So you can see in here a bunch of different options and filters and trends. So like the niche keywords, for example, this is a nice word cloud, and it shows you the actual real search terms or titles that are combined into a word cloud. So you know like, hey, what's the most important thing people are putting in their titles when somebody types in stemless wine glass. You can see here's a bunch of different things, and of course you can export that to a CSV. You can also export this data to CSV right away. So here's a copy of that CSV for that particular set. So it shows you all the same data that you're seeing on this screen, essentially. Just puts it into a spreadsheet. So if you want to ship that over to your team or say, hey, I think this might be a good product idea, or you want to put that into your own Excel or Google Sheet to track, and maybe you're going to filter in here and say, hey, I want to move forward with this. Nope, that's a bad idea. I'm going to put that one in red. You can go down the list and kind of systematically figure out like where you want to put your focus. Another cool tool is their trends option here. So as you click the trends, you can see like where the seasonality is. So a lot of times sellers make the mistake of not understanding that there is seasonality on Amazon. And so obviously with inventory constraints and SKU limitations that Amazon has into place and limited storage, it's good to know like, hey, when should I be beefing up my inventory to be in preparation for that? Now, this particular chart won't be surprising. Every time it spikes, it's always in December with the Christmas rush. But there's going to be some items that might have a seasonality that will surprise you. Maybe your Christmas is in January if you sell supplements or health products. Maybe your Christmas is in May when everybody's going hiking and outdoors, whatever it might be for your particular category and substance. So, you can see like when it dies down. So the weakest time of the year for stemless wine glasses in recent memory has been February, as well as another dip here in August, right around when back to school starts. So it's kind of interesting to see, some of that data and see what's happening there. So trends can be very valuable to plan. On the top right of the tool, you can see like their visibility score or their niche score. So if you check out what the niche score does, it's basically indicating like, hey, what's the profit, the demand versus the competition. So in this particular search, profit's high. So there's good prices, potentially high margin. I actually don't know how they're calculating for margin. It could be just like a percentage basis off FBA fees versus sell price. So if I were to search for an item under $10, I would expect this to say bad margin, for example. The demand here, so this is saying the demand might be temporary, but is a chance to grow and you will be one of the first sellers. Now, I don't agree with this particular component because obviously stemless wine glasses have been around forever, but there could be some increase in demand coming out of that trendsetter back in December, and that could be why it's populating that. High sales, you'll have a high chance to sell a lot, especially if you're first on the page. So what that says is basically there's a lot of demand here. A lot of people are selling a lot of product. So competition, medium, unsaturated niche. There's not as many sellers according to the tool. Very low quality listings, very low top brand competition, not monopolistic, so you won't be competing with many multiple strong sellers or less strong sellers rather. Many reviews. Now that's a downside, so you can see here they're evaluating saying you're going to need a lot of reviews. And that's just because in high velocity categories that would be required. So high average ratings. So there's a lot of 5-star products out there in this space. And then high amount of AMZ sellers. So you'll be competing with some of Amazon's products, which is hard. So that's directly competing against first-party sales out of Amazon. Clicking on the options tab here, you can see a bunch of different filters you can enable, like BSR, price, min, net, category, inventory, weight, you name it. There's a lot of different things that can be put into the columns or the headers to help you make educated decisions. So that's my hot take on the AMZ Scout Chrome extension. I'm going to now go over to the web app. So before I do that, leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite thing about AMZ Scout Chrome extension is. If you've used it, leave a comment about that. We'll see what everybody else likes about it too. Maybe there's something I missed that you like more than what I've talked about. All right, so if we go over to the web app now, in here, there's a menu on the left-hand side with all of the tools they have inside of the web apps, from a product database, a tracker, keyword research, reverse ASIN lookup, all of the common tools that you would expect in a good Amazon research tool are all present. Nothing is missing. So in here, I've started playing around with the product database. So inside of the product database, so let's say I don't know what product I want to sell, but I generally know, like, hey, here's kind of the stats or something I want to be doing. So let's say I'm really knowledgeable in home and kitchen. So I'm going to put home and kitchen in it. Now I could type a keyword in here, and I left this one blank on purpose just to demonstrate this. But I did know, hey, I want to be between $25 and $35. And I added one additional filter, and I want something that's under rank 50,000 on the BSR, just to see what would come up, right? Like I'm in a brainstorm session here. So in here, we can see all of the products, and you can filter this or sort by estimated revenue on what's working. So obviously some of these products are really non-starters. They're too large. So I gotta play with my filter more and say, okay, obviously I'm not going to be selling Xbox gift cards, right? So this is helpful to go in here and say, okay, cool. So I know I need to filter this more. What are the sort of things I should do? Well, first of all, I want to make sure I avoid Amazon, so I'm going to go FBA only, right? So if I update that filter in here, I know I'm going to immediately filter out a lot of the things that I can't compete in. So like those Xbox gift cards, gone, right? Like now I'm seeing, okay, here's what the space looks like in home and kitchen. Surprised to see some clothing, to be honest. So we've got some bed sheets, we've got some pillows, we got tumblers and wine glasses and ramblers and a bunch of other good stuff. So now it's looking a little bit better for me to kind of get some brainstorm ideas, right? And we even got some salon masks, if you will. So in here, we see the estimated sales, what the estimated revenue is. So there's some really big products here with multi-million-dollar revenues, right? And this is estimated monthly revenue. So there's some big products. Now, one of the things I would note is because a lot of times, like let's say that these two items were in the same parentage, and they very well could be, it's difficult for tools to see like the difference in sales between variations, right? So if I click into here, the variation that's doing the best will often show in the tools database. And in here, though, it looks like they're breaking it out. So I'm not sure on this particular question. You can see the estimated sales rank's different, but there's 2 children showing up in the search result on the same search result. So just a word of caution on that. You don't know if it's, which color is doing best in some categories if they all share the same BSR. All right, so as we scroll down here, let's say, okay, cool, I'm seeing a ton of bed sheets. I really want to get into bed sheets. So then I would narrow down my keywords here, and I would say I want to do bed sheets, right? So I'm going to hit find products. I've filtered down one additional layer just to see what pops out here, and then we can see, like, hey, how good is the bed sheets category? So as we scroll down, we get a pretty good idea that there are multiple multi-million-dollar products in the space. We're going to see some particular brands that are dominating, like Melanie and Lux Club, and I'm sure there's going to be some others here, but those 2 seem to be coming up quite a bit. And so this helps me do some product research. One of the things I would do next on the product research is I would go look at their reviews, and wow, that's 59,000 reviews. That's incredibly high. That might be one of the highest I've seen on a non-Amazon brand. But if we were going to do some product research, we can come in and, well, I haven't clicked this button before. Let's see what this does. So it pops up the Chrome extension for this tool, and it compares it to all the other items that are showing in like advertising and pulling in some of those. Basically the same snapshot we did earlier with the search result, but pulling in from the particular product. So good to see that. So if you ever wanted to know like what specific product is doing on the fly while you're searching and doing some research like we were just doing there, I can see, hey, $35 price, FBA fees at $11.68, so a net margin of 67%, not accounting for your cost of goods. And you can look at the estimated revenue, 2.3 million, 59,000 reviews. So a bunch of data is populated there by just clicking that button there. All right, so as we scroll down, though, doing some product research, I always go look at the 1-star reviews and say, okay, you get what you pay for, right? Like not an uncommon review, not something I wouldn't be expected to see. Won't stay on the bed, more microfiber than bamboo. Do not buy, these are terrible, not bamboo. So like if I was going to try and compete with these guys, I would hit them from the bamboo angle just from reading those first 5 negative reviews, right? So that's the kind of thing you do when you're doing product research. All right, so really cool filter options. And you can look at a lot of different filters that I didn't test for demonstration here purposes here. But if you wanted to say, like, let's just look at, hey, I want to look at only items with a review rating under 3, right? I really doubt anything's going to show up. We'll see what happens. But if there was something that was showing up with a 3-star review with substantial sales, that would be incredible, right? So let's see what pops up. So more than I expected to see. So this item has... supposedly, so the revenue numbers are dropping consistently here. So here's your estimated revenue. So I wonder how the rank is being calculated with the revenue in mind. But if we go over to see this one random item, so what I would have expected for it to see is like the review counts. Let's see, let's go back to the filter. Maybe I did it wrong. So estimated rating. Let's look at the tooltip here. Rating of the product on Amazon. Generally, the value is between 3 and 5, but you could put in even a 4.5. So I'm not sure how that got pulled in because I put in 3 stars, but not everything's always going to be perfect. All right, so let's go look at the product tracker. Let's check this out next. All right, so I took that same Lux Club item we were looking at. I pasted into the product tracker and I put the URL here and I hit plus. Now I do see a limit of 20 to track, so you could look at 20 items and track them. What this should do is get more granular data than what you would see like in a broad stroke from the Chrome extension. But basically we can like get very specific and track like, okay, these guys have 36 inventory on this item, right? Like that's how much it tracks. It's hyper specific tracking and estimated daily sales and everything else that comes into that. So if an item only has 36 in inventory, these guys might be stocking out, is basically what that tool is saying. So there is a product tracker to really get granular. So if you're looking at like, I don't know, your competition or you're trying to figure out like, how the space is doing, you want to track items on a daily basis before you make a purchase for a month, you totally can with that tool. So the next tool we're going over to is the Amazon Keyword Research tool in the web app. So I've just typed in bed sheets since we're going down that theme here. So here's the search term, and here's the estimated monthly search volume. Now notice one of the things that this does is it pulls in phrase match on all of the like terms. So there's 824,000 people searching on a monthly basis for the term bed sheets, but there's also, a couple 100,000 in combined additional niche words. So if I was going to enter this market, obviously entering the market with a 59,000 review product is tough, right? But would it be much easier is if I scrolled down and said, oh, interesting, there's a niche in bamboo bed sheets, right? And there's 4,400 that are looking for bamboo bed sheets. And I'm going to build a product that focuses specifically on that niche. Especially if you're a newer seller, it makes sense to go niche because it's easier to be the only seller than it is to be the best seller. Now, obviously, it's hard to be the only seller these days because there's so much competition, but nonetheless, you get the idea of where I'm going from that. So you could also filter in the search volume. So like, let's say I wanted to slough off everything above 5,000 because I really just wanted to go in and look at the niches specifically, and get weird things like flannel bed sheets. I don't know who buys that. Maybe I'll save my commentary, but that one's funny. Cool bed sheets. I'm not even sure what would be determined for cool. Maybe they keep you cool. Let's just see what the search results look like. I'm not really sure what delineates the term cool. Saw a really good video ad there. You saw the flicker of the colors there, really trying to get your attention there. We're seeing video ads go very crazy right now. So that's the Amazon keyword search tool, and you can filter in a few different nice things there. Also download everything to a CSV so you can track everything. So the next part of the tool we're going to is this reverse ASIN lookup. So I've typed in that same ASIN we've been looking at. We're going to look at all the keywords that this populates. Notice here at the top you can filter for like number of words in a keyword. Why would you want to use that? Maybe you're trying to find that niche again. You want to use 3 or 4 long tail keywords, so you can filter that accordingly. So in here you can see all of the organic ranks as well as the sponsored ranks, which is a very good data insight, because if you're doing research, you want to know not just what they organically rank for, but also what they advertise on. Because if they're, slot 2 on queen bed sheets, but they're not advertising, it could be because that term is not profitable to advertise on. Or maybe they're advertising on something, but the rank difference between the two could, there could be like a big gully or valley between those two. Relevance score is AMZ Scout metric that expresses how relevant the keyword is to this product. So the more higher it is, the more often the product's found organically throughout Amazon with this keyword. So what this would allow you to do is basically say, these things are less relevant as you go down. So they're sorting it by relevancy score essentially. You could also sort it by the organic rank. You want to see, okay, which words are in slot 1 versus not in slot 1 or lower down. So a lot of good filters and options to look at keyword rankings. And we often will, filter lists like this as we do our own keyword research for competitors at My Amazon Guys. We're trying to figure out, like, okay, the main thing you use a reverse ASIN tool for is to go grab keywords from another listing to try and figure out like what you should be putting in your own search terms, what you should be writing your own copy about, right? So it's, a reverse ASIN tool is really critical to be able to go in and say, all right, I see you guys are doing really well on this set of keywords. I probably should focus on this set of keywords, right? Now, alternatively, you could look at what they're doing poorly at and extrapolate and say, maybe I should focus on the niche that they're doing poor at so that I reposition my product. So a lot of different angles you could take there. All right, so the next tool we're going to go look at is the Amazon Index Checker and Keyword Tracker tool. So this is a standalone product for an extra $30 a month. So I went and downloaded that, and let's go over to that tab here. So this was a pre-populated one. I think this was just like an example product. But so in here, you can actually track specific keywords on how they're ranking over time. This is beneficial, especially if your ranking is fluctuating. It's also really beneficial if you are in slot 1 and you want to make sure you never go down, right? So if you wanted to look at a particular product and see like how it's doing from its keyword ranking. So this particular example product was in rank 38. Now it's in rank 55, and it's losing some ground at rank 53 here. So let's test another product and see how this works. So I just hit the add product button on the top right. I'm typing the ASIN in. You can switch the track every 24 hours, 12 hours. Wow, this goes down to 1 hour. That's crazy. So maybe there's a lot of movement on a particular keyword. You really want to know what's going on. You can do that. So there's 100 keywords that we can track. We can come in here and select, okay, I want to track the Cal King bed sheets. I want to track the California King sheets. So I'm just going to hit add here. And then in here over time, this product will populate like how it was doing on a Tuesday. How was it doing on a Wednesday? So you could use this for both your competition as well as your own products. Personally, I would probably use it in my own products because I want to know, like, when I have a loss or something that falls off, something that goes wrong, I want to know about it so I can take corrective action, run one of my SEO playbooks, maybe redo the title, redo the bullet points, touch up that A+ content, even though Amazon claims they don't index it, they do, and reposition some of your keywords accordingly to track your keywords. So keyword tracking tool, definitely a core thing you need in your arsenal to run your Amazon business. So that's my quick introductory review of AMZ Scout. I do want to emphasize that I was very impressed with the amount of educational content they have behind the scenes. So if you go check out their step-by-step courses, their master classes, and their university, if you're going to go alone, you need some content to follow. You need a process to follow, right? So obviously I'm biased. I run an agency called My Amazon Guy. If you need full service management, check us out at myamazonguy.com. We are everything you need from PPC, SEO design, and catalog management. But if you're going to go alone, you definitely need a tool like AMZ Scout. And let me know what your thoughts are on the tool. If you're a power user, maybe there's a feature I didn't expand upon in my video that you think is critical that people check out and use a certain way. Feel free to leave a comment on this video and let us know what you think. My name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. Thanks so much for watching.